What does high score mean? New high score, is that bad? What does that mean? Did I break it?
Hello everyone and welcome to Veteran Gaming. I am Aaron. Today on Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth, we're going to be talking about the Isengard crew, and we're going to do a complete overview of their capabilities inside of the game. We're going to talk about some of their key abilities, how you farm them, are they good in arena, are they good in the raid chapters. We're going to do a complete overview, so hopefully this video is helpful. If it is, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you leave them down in the comments section down below, and I'll get back to you whenever I am able to. So the first thing let's go ahead and do is pull up our Isengard crew, which happened to be right at the top already, but there we are. So I have been farming them essentially since I could, day one, and the only hero that I have unlocked at 7 stars is Ugluk. That's because the rest of the crew here, Azak, Dunhar, Morza, and Maur, are story mode unlocks, which means they take energy. Ugluk is 7 stars because he is guild campaign, which are always the faster farms. So even though I've been trying to unlock them since the day the game released, as you can see here, I am still a ways off from every single other hero here. So they are a bit of a slower farm just because there's no, arena store hero that you can pick up. There's only one guild campaign. So compared to some of the other factions, this is a bit of a slower farm, but I do think they can be a very strong faction. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight some of the heroes and their kits. And I want to start with Ugluk just because he is the leader, and his leadership is super, super key to how this faction operates, because when an Isengard squad member inflicts a Bane, heal all squad members for 2.5% of their max health, and then you're also going to get that up to 5% once it's maxed. So this squad operates on putting Banes on the other team, and that's how they also heal. So really, really, really important that a lot of these heroes have Banes in their kit. Like, he has a blind on his second attack, and on his third attack, he has a disable, which are both really wonderful abilities. Even on his block chance on his passive, there's a chance to inflict weak-minded on somebody, which again is a Bane. So we're all about Banes here based on Ugluk's leadership ability. So let's talk about Azak real quick. He is our big hitter in the crew. He has really great abilities. He's got an Expose, which is a Bane on his 1. He has a Bleed on his second attack, which again is a Bane. And then he can ignore a taunt and do a massive, massive hit on his third ability. And oh, by the way, he does more damage to heroes that are bleeding, which is wonderful because Dunhar on his first attack will also put a Bleed for 2 turns. Oh, not to mention, he also has a heal block, which again is another Bane. He has a heal on his third ability, but oh, by the way, it inflicts weaken, another Bane. These dudes have Banes all over the place, which is how they stay alive and how they control the other team. Morza here is somebody I'm really looking forward to maxing out down the road because his support kit is actually very strong. The unfortunate part about it is it takes a while to get him leveled up, which is where he really shines. On his A1, he is placing a Bane, but on his A2, he's dispelling boons, inflicting a Bane and disrupted, and calling an assist. His third ability here, though, is really key. He's going to dispel boons, inflict expose, which is a Bane, and then he's also granting haste. I mean, when this thing is all the way maxed out, he's going to dispel a boon from all enemies, grant haste to all squad members, and oh, by the way, he's still inflicting expose. That's a really, really strong ability. And he's gaining max health and armor on his passive, which helps keep him alive because as a support, he is a little bit squishier. And also remember, if he has higher health, based on Ugluk's leadership ability, he's going to gain more health back and heal himself based on every Bane that's inflicted. Maur here is one of the probably weaker, in my personal opinion. His kit is just very kind of self-serving. It's very crit attack focused for him. He's going to gain regeneration just for himself, deadly just for himself, haste just for himself. He does inflict slow and call Ugluk to attack on his third. And then on his passive, he's gaining crit chance for all of Isengard's squad. But again, he's just cleansing a Bane from himself and gaining crit damage. So It's not like he's a terrible hero, but considering some of the other heroes, he's just not doing it for me quite as much. So, slower to farm, but have good survivability just because of how many Banes they can put out. And once Morza is going to be leveled up, his combat control is going to be exceptional. So a good rounded squad in terms of abilities. In Arena, I haven't had a chance to mess around with them too much, but I can't imagine they're anywhere worse than middle of the road, just because they do have survivability, and combat control, especially in Arena type modes, is really, really important, because if the other heroes can't use their abilities, obviously you get the upper hand. So mid-tier in Arena would be my initial call. If somebody plays with them more in Arena, please put it down in the comment section down below. Let everybody know how strong they can be. As far as the Shadow campaign, I've used them to clear everything up to Chapter 6. And frankly, I just haven't done Chapter 6 because I'm using my energy other places. They can get through the hard campaign there as far as you need. So overall, decent in Shadow campaign because they can heal themselves. That survivability helps keep them going. In the raid chapters here. All right, so in chapter 1, they're really not a very strong team, and the main factor involved in that is they are a very slow team. And if you can't get the hits on the bomber, then you're going to get bombed and you're going to get wiped out. So it is nice that they have a couple of assists built into their kit, and once Morza gets leveled and that haste is out there, it will help a little bit. But in general, they're not a very strong chapter 1 team because it is so speed-based. Maybe once glyphs come out and you can increase their speed, maybe they'll be a little bit stronger. But as of right now, I would say a mid to low team in Chapter 1. Chapter 2 is a totally different story because once you get to the troll, bleeds do a ton of damage to the troll. So the fact that Azhak and Dunhar have bleeds in their kit is really, really, really important. Plus, Ugluk can blind him. That way his counterattacks aren't nearly as effective and you can keep that momentum down. So in Chapter 2, they tend to do a very strong job, especially once you have your hero's abilities leveled up. That way the bleeds stick more often, the blinds hit more often. Once you're landing all of those Banes effectively, this team is really, really going to soar in Chapter 2. So looking for accuracy, if that's going to be a glyph that's going to come, throw that on there. That way you're landing those Banes more often, because landing the Banes for the Isengard crew is obviously the most important thing, as I've kind of highlighted earlier. In Chapter 3, again, they're slow, and you want to take a bunch of turns in Chapter 3, so really not that strong of a Chapter 3 team. The only thing they have going for them is they are pretty thick, so they do take a couple of hits before they go down. But again, speed is so key in Chapter 3, so they're typically not a strong Chapter 3 team. Chapter 4, they are absolutely awful for some reason. Probably because bleeds don't do anything, and Banes, it's very hard to get Banes to land on him effectively, at least at the level I have them. Obviously, they're not 7 stars or level 60 yet. So hopefully that will increase. And again, maybe the glyphs that will increase accuracy will help. But in general, they have been a terrible Chapter 4 team for me. So the raids, they're probably not quite as strong as I'd like them to be. Chapter 1 and Chapter 3, pretty weak, mainly due to their speeds. Chapter 2, they are very, very good. But Chapter 4, again, pretty weak. Disappointing scores for sure. So as a general overview, again, a slow team, but good survivability, really great at combat control. They are a slower farm because 4 of them require story mode energy. There's only 1 guild campaign, and you really can't farm anybody outside of that. In Arena, I'm going to call them a mid-tier team. And raids, I would probably call them probably low end, other than Chapter 2, which is very unfortunate. So hopefully glyphs can give them a little bit of a boost and make them a little bit more prominent as a raid team moving forward. So there you go, guys. There's the overview. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you leave them in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming content. And as always, guys, have fun Good luck.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.